Hello, friends. Welcome back to COSSYZ ARSENAL Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand new video. We are back, and this time I have another special one. Once again, Glen is back on the channel, and I hope you guys really missed him because I did. He's back, and we're going to be discussing. The last time we were here, I think we were talking about bottling the top for something like that. And now we are talking about, can Arsenal go all the way to win the Premier League? That is how much we've changed. That is how much the team has changed. That is how much we've come from a long, long way. So, Glenn, welcome back to the channel, bro. How have you been all this long?
I've been so good. You're very right. That's actually the last thing we talked about, what we were going to do in the summer transfer window after bottling top four. But we are now back. We are doing great. Probably one of the best seasons we've seen as Arsenal fans. It's been going great. Obviously, not the best last couple of weeks, but we've picked it up against Aston Villa. So a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on. Nice to be back again.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, hit the like button if you're watching live. We are discussing Arsenal, Partey, Arsenal, Gabriel Jesus, and how big an impact are these two coming back at a time where we have very important games in March, April, and May. 3 months to go. We've come a long way. It is always something like 10 months. We've gone 7 months. We have 3 months to go. Can Arsenal go all the way? And of course, you've got to picture into your mind that the 3 months that we have to go have something like 15 games. Okay, so don't say 3 months. We can easily go go above that. It's 15 games, but can Arsenal go all the way? Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. You can also find me on the 90 More podcast. It is a very, very interesting YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to Glen on Glen Kitely, everything Arsenal, and Glen Kitely, everything football as well. He's got interesting content there, especially if you're a fanatic of fantasy Premier League, fantasy UEFA Champions League. Then he's got you covered. I don't do fantasy. I don't know how he does it, but look, he does his thing, and I be there. I watch him, and I'm really, really, really surprised that people watch fantasy content like that much. Like, I don't understand it, to be honest.
It's only growing as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. We'll be there. Right. So Thomas Partey is coming back, and Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus has been out for 78 days. I think this has been a little bit, worrying for us, but the timeline that was set was end of February, and the last game that we're playing in February is Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. There were a couple of speculations that he will play in that game. He would play in that game. That it was way back in January and December, but it looks like he won't be rushed. Thomas Partey as well didn't play in the Manchester City game. Did not play in the recent Arsenal Villa game at the Villa Park. And Jorginho has been given time to get integrated into the team, players understanding him, fans understanding him, and subsequently backing him. And then that stunner, right, that we're going to talk about as well. So, two massive injury boosts that we have at the moment. Do you think that is where the title now is going to be decided? Arsenal having Jesus and Partey back. Without them, we've managed to keep ourselves on top of the table. Do you think those two just see us through? Do you think their impact just see us through, the title?
I'd actually add a third player on top of that. I think all the two of them plus Smith Rowe, I think all of them need to be fit between now and the end of the season. Mostly because as well we have Europa League, Champions League next season. Hopefully Europa League football coming up as well. Personally, at the beginning of the season, I wanted us to win the Europa League because I didn't think we were going to be fighting for the Premier League. And we reached this stage, and I know there's still tough teams there. There could be Man United or Barcelona, blah, blah, blah. But that's another chance of winning a trophy. And obviously, on top of that, yes, Nketiah has done well more than he's done poorly. He's done well for most of the games. I think he's got 9 goals this season. That's not that bad. Like, if you give him the whole season, he might get you like 15 goals. But obviously, he has missed a lot of chances recently, especially against Man City and also against Aston Villa the other day, especially the one-on-one. So we need Jesus back. I saw your video the other day talking about obviously Jesus, the impact Jesus has next to the other players, how he helps the likes of Martinelli and how he helps the likes of Saka, how he understands them, how he makes them better players. That is what I miss about Jesus most. Nketiah does not really have that connection with the rest of the players. I think he's just a box player. He's a poacher inside the box. That is what he is. He's not really the kind of player to combine with Saka and combine with Martinelli.
Yeah,
Jesus was playing for like 2-3 months, and it seems like he was here for like 2 years because of his understanding. And also the way he comes back to midfield and picks up the ball. He does not just stay in the box. He creates chances. He scores goals. Not scored as many as we want, but we can only wait to see when he plays a full season how many he can score. So that will be a huge boost for us, so that you can rotate the two up front. I love the idea of playing Trossard up front, Martinelli up front, but I do prefer them on the left side, to be honest. So if we have Jesus up front for the rest of the season, and then Keche can come on for a few minutes, that would be great. And then Thomas Partey in midfield, obviously. Jorginho's done well. I actually didn't agree with people saying Jorginho didn't do well against Everton. Yes, he gave away the ball once, but people are just talking about Jorginho because obviously he's from Chelsea and we've not lost a game in a while, and he lost to Everton. But he actually played well. And against Aston Villa, it wasn't just Odegaard creating chances.
yeah.
Jorginho's creating
Wow,
chances in
wow.
midfield. Partey has not created any big chance this season. Zero big chances created from midfield. Yes, he scored 2 goals, a big one against Tottenham at home. But for Jorginho, he can create chances from midfield. Yes, there's some games that you prefer Partey, like maybe against Man City, would have done better with
Yeah,
Partey than
much better. Yeah,
Jorginho.
'cause
For
I
sure.
think Lodri is a bully. Lodri is a
Yeah,
bully. If you
yeah.
have a player like Thomas Partey that can cancel him out of the game, gives you a massive advantage.
Yeah, so having both of them fit and having those options from the bench. The other day, I looked at our bench and the bench looked very actually solid. Martinelli on the bench, Smith on the bench, Tomiyasu. Now, imagine on top of that, now you have Nketiah there as well, and then you have Jorginho there. That would be great. So, a lot of big games coming up. We have 15 games, 15 cup finals to go, and
Yeah.
there are games that are going to be hard. We're going to go to Man City, you're going to go to Liverpool, you're going to go to Newcastle. All those games are not going to be easy. So, we need players like Thomas Partey and Jesus back, players who've done it before, players who've won titles. Partey won it in Spain as well. Players who've won those titles before, we need all of them fit. So it would be a huge boost having both of them there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the most important one is gonna be Gabriel Jesus. I think with Jorginho, the signing is paying off. Starting from the Aston Villa game, if he doesn't get those hiccups, those setbacks, and then he goes all the way, just continues becoming a better player, getting integrated into the team. I think Jorginho is actually very, very good when it comes to dominating play. But then also when you're dominating play and you're looking for that, cutting edge, right? That pass that breaks through the lines, that pass that can break down defenses. Jorginho can do us a very, very massive job. If Gabriel Jesus comes back, in my opinion, and he starts where he stopped, I think we're gonna be unstoppable. I'm not saying we will definitely win it, but I'm saying we will be unstoppable. And this is what I want to ask you: do you see Arsenal going back on a run, 10 games, 12 games unbeaten?
We started the first game against Aston Villa. Our fixture list is very good. We have home games against Leeds, against Bournemouth, against, obviously not disrespecting any team, but we have a very good home form. We always lose to Man City. So forgetting about Man City, we have a very good home form. Basically, we've not lost since last year. So we have a very good fixture list up until April. And even in April, the teams we are playing, like Chelsea, the teams that we usually beat. So if we believe in ourselves and go into those games, we are going to win all those games. So maybe not win 10 games in a row, but if you can win 7 and draw 3 there, I think we'd still be top of the table. So that would be very good. But if you can do 10 in a row, that will take us to 5 games remaining. That will put us in a very good position going to win in terms of winning the title. I know it's very hard. I still expect us to lose a couple of games, mostly because the Europa League will be in there as well. Maybe suspensions this season. We've not really had players suspended. That is a good thing. So let's see what happens. I also had a question about the 2 players you're talking about. I saw Jesus and Nketiah playing together, I think against Orlando City before the season starting, and Jesus played well on the right side, and Nketiah played well on the left side, and both of them played well up front. Do you think there's a scenario where we could see both of them starting, and also can you see both Jorginho and Partey starting in the same team?
Well, I think that was the last discussion we had on the channel. I think it was after the Aston Villa game. Someone asked that in the comment section, and he said, "Cossy, do you see Jorginho, Xhaka, Partey, and then Odegaard playing, together in the same team?" I would love it. Remember when there was a time when we played Chelsea? Was it Jose Mourinho's Chelsea? David Luiz came in midfield, right? He literally played with 4 defensive midfielders. David Luiz played as a defensive midfielder in that game. Did he play? I think was it N'Golo Conte as well in there? look, I love giving teams respect, and this is something that many managers do. You look at Manchester City, how they played against Arsenal, right? They gave us a lot of respect in the first half. They gave us a lot of respect, and even in the second half, before we capitulated and gave away all those mistakes, I think City never allowed themselves to get flattered. They never allowed themselves to get carried away. It's 15 games to go. You need to win every game. If we go to the Anfield, I would play Jorginho and Partey. And look, Mikel is not that kind of guy that loves to play and switch around with his system. He loves a good starting 11. He loves to be consistent. He loves his own style. He wants to beat every single team with his own style. But it wouldn't hurt for me. It wouldn't really hurt to see Jorginho and Partey play together to get 3 points at the Anfield. It wouldn't hurt to see Jorginho and Partey play together to get a point at Manchester City at the Etihad. It wouldn't really hurt. Or go to Newcastle. Of course, Newcastle is debatable, but with Bruno Guimaraes there, you've got to ask the questions. Do you open yourself like that, like we opened ourselves last campaign? You don't. Play Jorginho, play Partey, maybe for 70 minutes. And if Newcastle have become a little bit easier, then you can take one of them, increase the creativity in Fabio Vieira or Emil Smith Rowe, and then go all the way and win the game. So for me, no brainer. Their games where outplay both Jorginho and Partey. And I see it happen. If Mikel Arteta now believes that the title is Arsenal's to lose, there are games where he will put some respect on opponents. And I see it happen. With Edin Ketia and Gabriel Jesus, I think that is a little bit difficult now that Leandro Trossard has come in. Look, I love Martinelli, and everybody on this channel knows that I'm a big Martinelli fan. But I was the first person to say, drop Martinelli, please. Please drop him. Let him come from the bench. He needs to refresh. He needs some time, off the cameras. And when we did, he scored a last-minute winner, celebrating before he scored. And the impact he had on that game was absolutely massive. So, Edin Ketia and Gabriel Jesus, I think they can play in the same team. There's no question. I think Ed is gifted. He can also drift away from those number 9 positions. But I think with Trossard and Martinelli now, both available options. Martinelli can also play where Saka plays. I wouldn't really dare play Edin Ketia and Jesus. I think Nketiah, what you get from Ketia is the goals. Because the rest of the other attributes, Jesus is better. Pressing, Jesus is better. Counterattacks, Jesus is better. And everything, for me, Jesus is better. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. And it would be the clinical finishing that we need from Edin Ketia. And he's not providing that right now. So I wouldn't play both of them together. I would never play both of them together. But if it calls for a scenario where both of them have to play, maybe Saka needs to be rotated. Maybe Gabriel, Martinelli is injured and Trossard is off form. Then no questions. I would be open to the idea.
Yeah, maybe sometimes, maybe if injuries occur, hopefully not. We need to
maybe
all those players fit.
Well.
So yeah, but I'm curious to see whether they could play together, because we've seen them play together before this season starts, and they played well, I think, against Orlando City. So that will be an interesting one.
Yeah. So look, with Gabriel Jesus, I think he's the one that most fans are excited about. He's the ones that everyone is excited about. If he comes back, I know he's not going to bring this massive, huge number of goals like Osimhen is doing for Napoli, Lewandowski is doing for Barcelona. But do you think he's the reason why, of the 3 teams that have been surprisingly on top of the table, 3 young teams, Barcelona, Napoli, and Arsenal, he's the reason that we've dropped off, and Napoli have gone to create a 13-point difference in Italy, and Barcelona have an 8-point gap in Spain. Do you think if we had Gabriel Jesus, we would be something like 8-9 points above Manchester City right now?
Not necessarily, because Nketiah has still scored goals like against
Yeah,
Man
yeah,
United and those
yeah,
kind of teams.
yeah,
We had a very bad 10 days against Everton, against Brentford, and against Man City. The only game there that I look at, I'm like, yeah, we lost a very bad game. There was Everton, but we expected it to be tough because of the new manager bounce and stuff. We all know what happened against Brentford. You should have won that game, the referee and stuff. Man City, I don't really look at Man City like that's a game that Arsenal usually win because we usually lose that game anyway. So I don't think if Jesus was there, I still think maybe we'd have lost that game because we were giving
mm,
away so many balls at the back. So I don't think if Jesus was there, would have been 9 points or 10 points clear. No, but he definitely would have helped us to win at least one of those games, especially the
yeah,
one against Brentford at home.
mm,
Before the World Cup against Wolves, that game, he was absolutely amazing. That game, the
mm,
way he was winning tackles in midfield, he doesn't give midfielders a chance to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
settle with the ball. And he's a striker. He's supposed to be doing covering the defenders for the opposition team, but he even covers the midfielders for the opposition team because he comes back to midfield. He hustles for the ball. So maybe what I would say is maybe the likes of Saka and Martinelli would have done better for
yeah,
themselves. Jesus was in the team, especially Martinelli, because I don't think Martinelli and Nketiah have a good understanding as of
yeah,
now. I
yeah.
think Jesus and Martinelli understand each other better.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, ever since we came back from the World Cup, the left-hand side at Arsenal has dropped off. Jacques is
Yeah.
not playing very well. He's no longer getting those opportunities to shoot at goal and going through to goal just like he was. Gabriel Martinelli, how many chances has he got? And what pisses me off all the time is right now all the play tilts to the right. Whenever we get the ball, we are looking on the right hand side. It is Zinchenko, then either Partey or Jorginho, then it crosses down to Odegaard, then Saka. We isolate the left hand side. I think that's what we are missing from Gabriel Jesus. For me, why I think we would be like 5 or 6 points above Manchester City. I
Yeah.
think Gabriel Jesus, we find a goal, right? There is a way to break down the Newcastle defense in that nil draw, right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
the
I
one
I
game.
think you don't easily cancel him out of a game like you could, like they cancelled out Eddie Nketiah. I think in with him we score against Everton because Everton I really struggle to remember how many clear cut chances we had, how many players really tried to do something different. So I think with him we find at least one goal in that Brentford game. Sorry, in that Everton game. And with Gabriel Jesus, I think we win the I think we win the Brentford game, not by scoring many goals, but Brentford just had too much time on the ball. They just had a lot to do. It's like we're not even challenging them for me. So look, I think if he comes back and he does very well, like the way he did, he's going to be like a new signing. And I'm gonna say that he's gonna be like a new signing for us.
Yeah, at this stage of the season, he's used to fighting for titles at this stage of the season. So he's
Yeah,
not only bringing the whatever on the pitch, he's also bringing the leadership, the experience alongside Zinchenko and those kind of players. So it's better to have him in the team. I cannot wait for him to come back. I was very gutted when I heard he was injured for Brazil. I was like, really? After we're having such a good season, he's playing really well, and then he gets injured on international duty. We definitely need him back alongside obviously Pat and people like Smith Rowe. That would be great to have all three of them in the team. That would be great.
yeah, absolutely. So if you guys, I think we have 4 or 5 big fixtures coming up. Of course, every game is gonna be big now. But you have Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea. Those are gonna be the most covered in terms of media, and they're going to be the most pressuring games, right? Because everybody's gonna say if they can go and win it at Anfield, they're champions. If they can go and beat Chelsea at their own ground, they're champions. If they can go against bitter rivals Manchester City, get a point there, maybe 3, they're champions, right? So if for me, if Partey and Gabriel Jesus are available, I'm definitely backing Arsenal. I'm definitely going to back my team. I even back us even without them, right? I've been backing Arsenal without them. I think for now, I mean, I'm new into the title race. I'm like a month old. I've been always on the fence. I've been there on the fence, right? Like top 2, top 3 is fine, but now there is no point in finishing top 2. There's no point in finishing top 3. Go for the title. Either way, if you lose it, you finish top 2. You finish top 3. But I just want to ask you, when did you start believing that Arsenal are now real title contenders?
When we beat Man United and Tottenham in the same week, like a month ago. That was a big win against Man United, scoring in the last minute. We usually know when we were growing up, we were used to Man United scoring last minute goals against us. Rooney, Nani, Jason Park, these guys. We used to go through a lot, but we are now the ones scoring last minute goals against them. And we went to Tottenham, a place we've never won before in that stadium, and we've not beaten them at their place since 2015. And we won so comfortably. That's when I was like, yeah, we were 22, 20, 21 games into the season. Looking at our fixtures at that time, I was looking at Everton next, Brentford next. I was like, wow, we can actually go on a major winning streak here. So I started believing then. Now, after the Aston Villa game, I really, really believe, because we've bounced back from those defeats. And that Aston Villa game is one of the best wins we've ever had. As an Arsenal fan, that game was so exciting. I know we've beaten Chelsea this season, all these teams at Stamford Bridge, at Tottenham Stadium. We've won all those games, but this Aston Villa game was a huge one. Coming back in the second half, character without all those players, Partey, Jesus scoring, everyone scoring, Zinchenko scoring, Jorginho. I don't count it as a Martinez goal, by the way. In my head, it's a Jorginho goal, because
No,
that shot.
I've never even talked about it as a Martinez goal. It's a Jorginho goal.
It's a Jorginho goal. So that shot, having Arsenal fans start talking nicely about Jorginho. That is what we need in the team. That's why I'm always worried about Nketiah missing chances. I'm like, no, I want him to score. I want us to go into the last part of the season happy with everyone, confident anyone who's starting. Saka starts fine, White starts fine, Tomiyasu starts fine. That's what I wanted. But hopefully all of them can come back to form, because we really need all of them before the end of the season. But to answer your question, the week we beat Tottenham and Man United, that's when I started believing.
All right. So, look, guys, hit the like button, and this is where I need your thoughts and comments, because this is what I'm going to ask Glen next. Can Arsenal go all the way? Yes, we have Partey back, we have Gabriel Jesus back in those very vital months, but it's going to take more than players. It's going to take more than good performances. It's going to take more than having a good manager with a good philosophy and a good starting lineup. It's going to be more than that. So, can Arsenal go, all the way, right? Glen, all the teams that have won the title, apart from Manchester City, who are really good at accumulating 90 points, 93 points, 100 points, all the teams that win the title always have that season-defining moment, right? And look, it could be Manchester United 3-2 when we beat them. That could be our season-defining moment. It could be the Jorginho strike and Emiliano Martinez's own goal. That could be a season-defining moment as well. Or it could be that our season-defining moment was us going 5-6 games at the beginning of the season, unbeaten, winning, and nobody expected that, right? But now we need to see the job through, right? We've laid the foundation very well. We've done everything everyone expects us to do. Do you believe Arsenal can go all the way? Do you believe this is our first title win in 18 years?
I believe so. I don't think we're going to have such a good chance like this. I expect those teams to bounce back next season and all that. But we've said it, as you said, we started the season very well. We won games in a row at the beginning of this, and I think we had like 15 points out of 15. When was the last time we did that? Rarely. You talked about, before we went live, you talked about how we usually do badly in November, December period. This time before the World Cup, we beat Wolves away, we beat Chelsea away. We never do that. On top of that, we've beaten Chelsea away from home. We've beaten Tottenham away from home. We've beaten Man United. We've beaten Tottenham twice. Games that we never win as well. We've beaten Brighton away. We've beaten Aston Villa away. Scored 4 goals in all of these games. We are doing so well this season. I absolutely believe we're going to win it, mostly because of us, but also because of Man City as well. Man City usually win 10 games in a row, 15 games in a row. I don't think they're capable of doing that this season. They're not looking likely like they're going to win 7-8 games in a row. They're winning one, drawing games that we didn't expect them to draw. They're winning 2 games, conceding goals.
Actually, statistically this season in the Premier League, they have not won more than 3 games in a row. The best they've done is 3.
And then they're having internal problems like the points deduction thing that might happen whenever it happens. They had that trouble with Cancelo and Pep Guardiola. They never have this kind of problems whenever they're fighting for the titles this other season. So we are having a very, very good chance. When I talked to Odegaard the other day and I asked him, do you think you're going to win the title? He said they believe they're going to win the title in the dressing room and they're focused on themselves. They're not focused on Man City. So that's one thing that is running in the dressing room. They're focused on Arsenal, not really focused on City, because it's up to us. If we win every single game, we don't have to look at Man City. If we win every single game and draw against Man City, we are going to win the title. And there's also games where Man City are going to drop points. I'm also not worried about Man United. Yes, they've been doing well. Rashford is on form, blah blah blah. But they have some tough games. Like for United away from home, I actually think they're going to only win one more away game because I saw they have Newcastle away, Brighton away, West Ham away, Liverpool away. They might win a couple, but I don't think they're going to win all of them. So by the time we get to the 30th game, hopefully we've left them behind. And we actually played 3 games before Man United play next. By the time they play against Liverpool, we'll have played 3 Premier League games. So
and those 3 games are Everton, which is a game in hand, Leicester City, and Bournemouth. If Arsenal can hold their grip and win those 3, we are like double points ahead of Manchester United. Really double points. 14 points.
If we win all 3 games, we have 14 points ahead of them. And they'll have Liverpool that week and no guarantee they're going to win that game. So if, let's say, they draw or lose, they'll only have 1 game in hand behind us. So even if they win, they'll be 11 points behind us. So I want us to focus on ourselves and also on Man City. And I believe we can do it. So that run in the next 6 games, I seriously think we have to win all of them. Leeds at home, Everton at home, all these games we cannot afford to drop a single point. Leicester this weekend might be hard, but watching them against Man United the other day, they gave them so much space. I was like, Odegaard will enjoy himself in that game with that space. So hopefully we can just get that game done 100%. And after that, we'll have a few home games. I'm very confident this season.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think all Arsenal fans, this is where we have to believe. We've seen Mikel Arteta finish 8th on 2 occasions, then coming on to bottle the top 4. I don't think he really bottled it. I think we were very, very emotional. Then it was too much to ask for, of him. Even the title right now is too much to ask of him. You look at the quality of teams that have won the title in recent times, Liverpool and Manchester City. There is no way then you ask of Mikel Arteta to win the title for you. But I think he can. I think he's got everything in him inside as a manager to win the title. Do you think we need to rely more on our own strength to win it, or it's gonna be decided by Man City dropping more points, Man United dropping more points? Where do you see the difference and cutting edge? Do you think Arsenal are going to need to be so lucky that City drop this kind of ridiculous points, or like they did against Nottingham Forest, or it's going to be, a situation of, whoa, Arsenal been this good. They've gone 5 games unbeaten. They've gone 9 games unbeaten now, and Manchester City have, can no longer catch up.
I was watching City Extra the other day. I'm sure you know them. They're talking about, like for example, when you beat Aston Villa in the last minute, and then you go like 3 points ahead or something. It would be such a killer when you go to the next game and you see Man City winning 6-0 as well. Exactly. And then the next game, you win in the last minute, and then Man City do the same thing in the next game, they win last minute. You start doubting yourself, like, okay, whatever we can do, Man City can do as well. But when you win a game, and then you watch the next game, City drop points, you start believing in yourself more, like maybe you're getting, the more we win, the more Man City are getting pressure on their side. So that makes you believe more. So it's both sides. We have to believe in ourselves, and you also have to hope Man City drop off. And you have to, there's a lot of games you'll have to win. You're going to, like Atita said the other day, you're going to win games in the last minutes against Man United. You're going to have to just like struggle for the entire game. Ramsdale makes 10 saves and then you win in the last minute. Such kind of games will happen. You're going to have to score from a set piece. You're going to have to score from a penalty in the last minute. All those things have to happen. You have to be lucky. Like against Aston Villa, Bailey would have scored that, but Ramsdale made a very good save to the post. That would have been 3-2 to Aston Villa, and things would have been great, terrible for us. But you need all that luck to go on your side for you to win a title. And if we win every single game, we're going to get to 99 points. I don't think we're going to get to 99 points, but between 88 and 90, I think will be enough to win the title this season, maybe even less than that. In the Invincible season, we had 55 points by now. We now have 54. And I think we finished on 90 that season. I don't think we're going to get to 90 this season, but 88, 87, that should be enough. And that means out of the 15 games remaining, we need to win at least 10 of them.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we can. I think we can. I mean, you look at the other. If you take away 5 games from our remaining 15, I think we can go. I think we can win 10 of them. It's Man City, it's Newcastle, maybe Brighton as well. I mean, I can't write off Brighton as a hard nut to crack. And then Wolverhampton Wanderers as well. I think Lopetegui has done a very, very brilliant job at turning them around. Okay. But the rest of the teams, maybe an Anfield, right? Because it's Anfield and we are not Madrid. If we were Madrid, we wouldn't even be thinking about Anfield. We'd be like, okay, we'll go there, get 3 points, and then definitely move on. So Glenn believes we can go all the way. Glenn believes we will win the title. Let me know in the comment section if you believe we will win the title. And if we win it, do you think it's going to be Manchester City losing games, or do you think it's going to be our own brilliance? So, Glenn, are Man City still favorites in your head? When you look at the Premier League table, when you look at both teams, when you look at Pep Guardiola and Arteta, when you look at how the season is going, have you gone, well, I think both of us can, cancel each other out? Or is there still a massive gap in quality, experience, and you feel they're still title favorites for you?
Obviously, they're 100% title favorites. Even if you just look at their striker, they have Haaland. He's got like more than 30 goals already this season. You cannot compare to that. Even if you put Nketiah and Jesus together, I don't think you can compare to that. And also, these guys can afford to leave De Bruyne on the bench against Tottenham twice. We can't really do that. If you had De Bruyne at Arsenal, he starts every single game. So they have the option of doing that. They're definitely still the favorites because they've been doing this throughout the last 5-6 years and everything. They are used to title races, tougher ones against Liverpool, where each team used to win every single week, win every single week. They finish on 199 points, both of them at the same time. So they're definitely still favorites, but that's why we need to do our job. That's why I don't really listen to media, because if you sit down and you start listening to Sky and BBC and all these media guys, they'll definitely tell you Arsenal will not win the league. If you listen to rival fans, they'll laugh at you and tell you Arsenal will not win the league, obviously. So I'm not bothered about them.
I was watching TalkSport's match reaction. The same evening we won against Villa, and City drew points.
Yeah.
And the reaction was Arsenal will not win the Premier League title if they winning this way, right? Actually, the lesson they got is Arsenal will not win the title because we went toe to toe with Aston Villa. And then I'm like, but Liverpool also went into the 90th minute. Some games when they won the title, nobody said Liverpool will not win it. There were times when Manchester City beat Arsenal last season, right? We let that
Man City beat Aston Villa in the last minute last season to win the title.
Yeah, exactly. And they also beat us last year on New Year's Day. You remember New Year's Day, Lodri getting the winner in the dying minutes of the game. And everybody, what pisses me off with the media is everyone looks at Arsenal and they go, oh, they cannot win the title, right? The positives they give to Manchester City. Oh, Man City, that is a champion's performance. That is a lot of resilience. For us, it's a weakness. When we win 2-1, because it's a margin of 1 goal, it's a weakness. When Manchester City win 1-0, they say, wow, Manchester City won 1-0. That is a champion's performance. It really, really pisses me off. I just don't understand why so many people don't want us to win it. I just don't understand. We've not been even in the conversation for a decade. We've not won it for 18 years. People forget that 18 years we've not won it, and they still don't want us to win it. I just don't understand the beef.
They don't at all. They absolutely do not want us to win the league. I mean, they're used to us finishing 6th, 7th, and all that. So they actually can't believe that Arsenal is still top by February. Everyone was saying by November we are going to be out of there. So it's a good thing for us. I don't really listen to what they say about. Even people are starting to say, "Why is Martinelli celebrating before he scores?" I'm like, what?
I mean,
like, are you talking about that? Like, that's such a fun goal. Like, this guy, they just don't want Arsenal to win the title. So I never really listened to them. I just focused on us. Whatever Arteta does, whatever Odegaard does, that is what we're focused on. Arsenal alone.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you this. Like, City are favorites, are everybody's favorites, and just like Liverpool, they're disappointing. They're purely disappointing. If you look at their last games, they're almost the same games as Arsenal's. They've not finished Brighton. They've not finished Newcastle. They've not finished Liverpool. I think Liverpool will be going to their. I think the difference is many of the games we have to play away, they have to play at the Etihad. Liverpool will go at the Etihad. Newcastle will go at the Etihad. And I think Brighton as well will go at the Etihad. That is the only difference here.
They're actually going to go to Brighton's place, luckily.
Okay, luckily. do you see them drop more points? Do you see them drop like 10 more points? Because for me, I predicted right from the day we lost to them that they would drop 10 points. They've already dropped 2. Do you see them drop like 8 more points till the end of the season?
Yeah, between now and the end of the season, 15 games. Yeah, I can see them losing 3 games or maybe drawing 3 games as well. But if we win the title, I don't think we'll be like 10 points ahead of them or anything. No, I think we'll win the title by 1 point or 2 points. It's going to go to the final day. We are going to get sicker than we are right now. It's going to get even sicker. We're going to be fighting for the title on the final day. We are going to get absolutely sick. So I don't think we're going to win the title by like 7 points. Listen, I'd love if you go to the final game 4 points ahead, having already clinched the title. That would be great, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. I can see both of us dropping points still. That's why I'm saying I don't think any team will go to 90-something points this season. I can see between 85 and 90, somewhere between that to be enough for the title this season.
You know, Man City's last game in the season is Brentford.
Away.
But before that, they have to play Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
And then Arsenal's last 2 games will be the last game is Wolverhampton Wanderers, which is
at home.
Okay, right?
It's good fixture, yeah.
I kind of feel like I want it to go to the deadline day. I kind of feel like I want Arsenal to go to play a final of the Premier League, like Liverpool.
The only worry about that is by then Brentford maybe will be on the beach. They'll already be 8th, 9th, or 10th. And Wolves could be fighting to survive the league. That's the only worry I have. So Wolves will be giving their all, and Brentford might not be giving their all on that final day.
Yeah, maybe maybe that. But look, you look at Wolverhampton Wanderers right now. Of course, they're disappointed by not beating Bournemouth over the weekend. Yeah. If they had won that game, that would have taken them straight into the mid-table conversation. But they just have to win like 2 more games to be okay. If they can win like 2 more games and a draw, that takes them to 30 points, almost where Chelsea are at the moment.
I do want City to beat Leipzig in the Champions League. I want them to be in the Champions League March, April. I want us to take advantage during that time.
Yeah, and look, that could be a distraction for Manchester City. That could be a distraction for Pep Guardiola. That look, we've not won the Champions League this season. There is no Champions League favorite. I think this Manchester City side, with enough discipline, for me, they eliminate Real Madrid, right? It's just lack of discipline that dismantled Liverpool, but they eliminate Real Madrid. Maybe Bayern, but Bayern have been struggling this season. You look at how they are doing in the German Bundesliga, tied on 43 points with Union Berlin and Borussia Dortmund. I don't see a clear favorite. Napoli are not favorites. They're just like Arsenal. Everyone writes them off.
They play scary attacking football, though. So I can see, hopefully, I can see Man City being there with Real Madrid and Napoli and another team. Hopefully, Man City make it to that end of the season so that their focus will be between the 2, Premier League and Champions League. Hopefully, because if they get eliminated from the Champions League and their focus is in the league and we're still in the Europa League, there'll be a bit of trouble there.
Yeah. That's absolutely bad. So, but if they go to the quarterfinals, if they go through the quarterfinals, do you think then that actually creates this kind of euphoria in the side and just distracts them a little bit?
Yeah, because they want to win the Champions League more. They've won the Premier League a lot of times. They definitely want to win the Champions League. So if they get to the quarterfinal, I think they'll start focusing on that a bit. I think if they actually get to the semi-final and they're like 5 points behind Arsenal still, Guardiola will be like, nah, let's focus on the Champions League. Hopefully.
I don't think they'll be 5 points behind us by that time, unless we go to the Anfield and get a result, right? Because Apple...
Why not, though? That defense is not good enough, Liverpool. We can create many chances. Actually, the last 2 seasons, I remember us going there, like I said, missing 3 clear-cut chances at Anfield. I remember last season going there, I think it was Aubameyang or someone missing chances. Why not? I think we can create chances this season. The way they've been losing games, obviously, I would expect them to pick it up, maybe probably even finish in the top 4. Usually a draw at Liverpool wouldn't be bad. I actually wouldn't mind it this season, but I wouldn't be happy if we went there and lost 3-0 like we usually do. That would be a bad result. I mean, that I'm actually scared of facing Brighton than Liverpool. because Brighton will just keep on attacking. The other time we could have drawn 4-4 with them if that goal could have been allowed. So those are the teams I'm worried about. But I mean, look at this season. We've beaten all of those teams. We've beaten Brighton 4 goals at their place. We scored 3 goals against Brentford. We scored 4 against Aston Villa. Why can't we beat them again? We went to Stamford Bridge, kept a clean sheet. Why can't we do that against them at home? So I'm still confident. The fixture that I'm really worried about is Man City away, because they could close another 3 points there. That's the one I'm worried about.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, guys, hit the like button. Do subscribe to us as well. Subscribe to Glen Kitely, Everything Football and Everything Arsenal on YouTube for more of that, of these beautiful conversations. Now, look, let's talk about dark horses now, right? We are in the driving seat. Manchester City are chasing. I think Manchester City are actually giving us energy than people are realizing. And they could be that team that keeps on pushing Arsenal every single day. But then we've got dark horses. And okay, this season's dark horses are very different from the dark horses of the World Cup, who are Denmark, who didn't win a single game. The dark horses in the Premier League. I want to ask you, are Man United the dark horses in the title race, or are we the dark horses?
We are not dark horses. We're definitely there. I mean, I'd be very surprised if the dark horses being top from August. Man United are definitely there. They're there. They've won a lot of games in a row. They've beaten Man City at their place. They've beaten Liverpool. They've beaten Man City. They've beaten Arsenal. So they've beaten Tottenham.
I think they've beaten every member of the top 6, haven't they?
Yeah, they've not played Chelsea yet, but I mean, they're going right now. I'd expect Man United to beat Chelsea
in both legs.
Not yet. I don't think they've played them at Old Trafford yet. And if they play today, I'd expect Man United to win the way Chelsea are playing. So they're definitely there. What is helping them is the Rashford form, and they're playing well at home as well. They're winning a lot of their away game, the home games. Now, why I think they'll slip up, hopefully, as I said, their away games that are coming up for them. They have Brighton away, Newcastle away, Liverpool away, West Ham away, all those games. Hopefully, they can draw points in that one. I'm not really worried about them. They're just like us. They've never really been used to winning 10 games in a row, anything like that. And Man City have been used to that. And also, for them to win the title, they have to get past 2 teams, For us, we have to just stay top, and for Man City, they have to get past 1 team. For them to get past 2 teams, it means Man City have to drop off, and Arsenal have to drop off. They're kind of looking at the time you're going to face Man City as a potential time for them to close the gap. Yes, they will be in and around there until next month, but I don't think by the time we get to April, they'll be there. Hopefully, because they're also in the FA Cup, they want to win that. They're in the Carabao Cup, they want to win that. They could be in the Europa League. They beat Barcelona tomorrow, so hopefully. But I would expect them to be. I don't think we are going to finish like 20 points ahead of them. But as I said, we are playing 3 games before we play them. We could be 14 points ahead of them.
Yeah, you know what scares me about Manchester United is, you know, that kind of team that doesn't have anything to worry about right now. That is who they are. They are far gone to drop out of the top 4, and they're not far away from the title. But even if they don't win the title, or even if they don't finish as runners-up, no one cares. No one expected Manchester United to even finish in Europa League positions. Some of us predicted it to be 7th, 8th, some people even 10th, right? Because it's kind of a rebuild, and they are there strongly in the top, in the top 4 race, right? You look at how they have shrugged off Newcastle, right? They slowly crawled into the top 4, and now I think 5 points above Newcastle or something like that. Let me just verify here.
They're definitely going to finish in the top 3. I don't think any team is going to catch them below.
Exactly. They're around. It's 8 points above Newcastle, and 7 points above Tottenham Hotspur, right?
Yeah, they're not going to drop off.
Yeah, that means that even if Spurs win 2 of their next games, they don't displace Manchester United. Yeah, that is how good they've been. So do you think that could actually push them and, make them the surprise element? They just have to focus on winning each and every game without a lot of pressure on them for the title, and they could surprise everyone.
I think for them not being mentioned there will help them. So that is why I actually want people to include them in the title race so that they feel that pressure as well. Because I don't want them to be relaxed and fast having that pressure. I actually say my United are in the title race. Yes, I want them to be there so that they also get that pressure. Because if they are just relaxed, as you said, just 5-6 points are behind Arsenal, they can just say, "Nah, we didn't expect to win the title anyway." No, we are telling them you're in the title race so that they can feel that pressure as well. But I think at the end of the day, it's Man City. We are going to, if you finish above Man City, you're going to win the title. If we finish above Man City and you don't win the title, that will be a mess, a total mess. If you finish ahead of Man City, then we finish second and Man United first, that would be terrible. That would mean a disaster. So I believe if you finish a bit above City, you win the title.
Yeah. Look. And with Manchester United, one disadvantage they have is if Bruno Fernandes, if Marcus Rashford drops off right now, I don't think it's gonna drop off until he gets that mega contract. I don't think it's gonna drop off, to be honest. But the moment he drops off, or teams learn a way of stopping him, because Eric Ten Hag has been very good with shifting him, playing him on the left, playing him on the right, then down to the middle now as a number 9, at times playing him as a 10, and then Vegas ahead of him. But if Man United, if teams get to stop Marcus Rashford, I think Man United will struggle to win games. They will really, really do struggle to win games. But for now, I kind of see them in that spell where we are. You just go into every game, you win easily, everything is working on your side. They don't have to do a lot. I want to see them in that period where they have to do a lot, in that period where they have to put in a lot. That is what I want to.
Do you think when they play Newcastle in the Carabao, if they win the Carabao Cup, do you think they'll be more motivated for the league, or do you think they'll feel relaxed, like, okay, we've won a trophy, we can take the rest of the season easy?
I think if they win the Carabao Cup, they will feel relaxed. They will feel this is a major achievement. You know the way we dropped off. Remember last campaign, we lost 3 games, and it was, for me, everyone was saying Arsenal have done it. We lost games you couldn't expect. Crystal Palace, for Christ's sake, for crying out loud, Crystal Palace, Southampton, and then Brighton, right? So I think that will happen to them. They will be heartbroken, but not very, very much heartbroken. But I see them as that club that, have already achieved too much for this season. They're just like Newcastle. They have achieved too much. What happened to Newcastle will definitely happen to Manchester United. I could be wrong about this, but I don't see them going all the way. I mean, apart from the Europa League, they could surprise us in the Europa League if they get to the round of 16 and they don't draw one of these. I think Ajax or Napoli.
Yeah, I think
Ajax or Arsenal.
Yeah, and I think if they beat Barcelona, I think we're going to play them somewhere, quarterfinal or something like that. I think we're going to face them.
But I just want the final to be Man United Arsenal. That's all I want.
Can you imagine that? Man United Arsenal in the Europa League final, and they're like 3 points dividing us in the Premier League in May. That would be crazy.
Yeah,
but I'd be confident of beating them in a 2-legged game. I'd be confident of beating them at the Emirates as usual. In a 1-legged game, anything can happen.
Yeah. But I think what will demoralize them is if Arsenal can win these 3 games where they will not have any football, and then when they come back to Liverpool. That is what will demoralize them. They'll be like, okay, this is gone. 15 points, it's a little bit gone, unless Arsenal drop off massively, which I don't see happen. Which I think no one sees happen. We won't drop off massively. Even if we don't win it, it will be more of Manchester City just stepping up a gear, but not Arsenal dropping off. But guys, let me know in the comment section, what do you think about Manchester United? Are they in the title race? Do you think they will overtake Arsenal? Do you think they'll overtake Manchester City? Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I would love, this is very, very hypothetical, but I would love to be in the title race with Manchester United right now rather than Man City.
I mean, they'll have to get past 2 teams. I can see your comment at the bio, but they are going to win games, yes. But the problem is they're going to need two teams to drop off. They're going to need us to start losing games and Man City to lose games. Yes, they're playing better than Man City and everything, but Man City have the experience. So I can't really turn my focus to Man United and forget about Man City. Man City is the one I'm focused on. And maybe for them being in all competitions, Man United are still in all four competitions. So maybe that can take a bit. I don't think they have enough players in their squad to fight for four competitions as well. And also, if for them, I think if Rashford drops an injury right now or something, they're in trouble. I don't think Vegas can get them a goal. Martial is never fit and everything. And the way we've been saying about, I think they can survive without Casemiro for a few games, but without Rashford, they don't know where their goals are going to come from. For us right now, Odegaard can score today, Nketiah can score tomorrow, Saka can score today, Martinelli can score tomorrow. For Man City, Bernardo Silva can score tomorrow. Haaland will score. For Man United, it's Rashford and Bruno. Then no one else scores goals. Anthony does not score. Martial is never fit. Weghorst has never scored a goal. So for them, they're really dependent on Rashford in terms of goals. So if Rashford can keep on the form and stay fit until the end of the season, yes, one player can carry you for sure. But what are the chances of that happening for him to play every single competition for them? So that's why I'm still worried about Man City, because they have a better squad.
All right. So let's take some of your comments. Roland says, yes, they are in the title race, but they can't finish above the two teams right ahead of them now. I think the word can't should be replaced by may not, because look, we've had 3 bad games that no one expected Arsenal to have. We've had a run of 4 games in all competitions where we've not won a single game, and we scored 1 goal, right? So, yeah. I mean, I think it may be difficult for them, right? Especially if Arsenal create that 14-point difference, even when they have 2 games in hand. And even when they win those 2, 14, they cover 6 points. Arsenal would still be, massively ahead, right? So that is what could demoralize them. And maybe
the time it gets to 14 points,
yeah,
the confidence will be gone. So that's why I want us to win those 3 games.
The confidence will be gone. And then I think also the fact that they look at Manchester City as this kind of, alien team. You can't displace them. You can't win against them. There is nothing you can do about them.
Yeah, true.
Then DJ Denick says, Man United is in the title race, but they will drop because they rely on Rashford, which he can drop. There are times when players can be surprising. Messi, Ronaldo, they've scored 40 goals in a campaign consistently for years. Like, he scores 40, and then next season he scores 50, and then the next season he scores 60. So I wouldn't rely on Rashford dropping off. I would maybe rely on the amount of games they're going to be playing, because I think after playing Liverpool, they will be playing almost a game every 3 days. That is when I see them drop off. That's when I think they can drop off. But apart from that, I wouldn't really rely on they will drop off because they rely on one player. Players can be surprising, really, really surprising. And Rashford, apart from last season where he was actually poor, the rest of the seasons has been progressing very, very well, right? Okay. Yeah. It says, good evening, Cossy. How are you doing, Eric? Hope you're doing well. Isaiah says, I'm enjoying the show, but I'm seeing Man United becoming a big problem to us. But the biggest problem is they are relying on one player. But I see my team are winning the EPL after a very, very long time. I hope we do that. Hit the like button if you feel Arsenal will win it. Roland says, of course, we've covered that. Nyakuni says, I see Man United finishing in 3rd position, not above Arsenal or Man City, but not more than that. All right. Adbayo says they're more focused. They look very, very focused. From the way they play, like they can win the league as well. Look, I think they would win it if it was a league of very, very poor quality teams. Like, if you take Manchester United to Italy and put them maybe 4 points behind Napoli, they could see it through, right? Like, they can create that, because Napoli don't have any kind of pressure right now. They're just on a run. If you took them to the German Bundesliga right now, gave them 43 points as Union Berlin, Dortmund, and Bayern, I kind of feel like they can see it through, right? But with the Premier League, when Arsenal drop points, it's not a guarantee that Man United win. It's not a guarantee that Manchester City will win, and we saw that over the weekend.
Man United are 5 points behind us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we have a game in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
That is 8 points. That's very hard to cover because, as I say, they're going to Newcastle, they're going to Brighton, they're going to all those teams. It's going to be hard for them to cover both teams, to pass both Man City and us at the same time. That's going to be hard. Obviously, they can still they will finish third. They're not. I don't think they're going to they're going to go below Newcastle or Tottenham. No, I think they definitely will finish in the top three. But in terms of passing through two teams, I think it's going to be hard for them because we have the chance to go 14 points ahead of them before they play. So.
Nicholas says, I disagree with you guys. Man United look very focused. No. Nicholas says, thanks, guys, for the good conversation. This is Nicholas from Kampala, Uganda. Thank you so much, Nicholas. Hope you're having a great evening as well. Jiwi55, thank you so much for the comment. Peter says, hi, bro. This is Peter from UG. Hope you're doing well, very well. Roland also said, it is good. They are back, but they shouldn't be rushed into the game. That is Gabriel Jesus and Thomas Partey. I don't think he will rush them. I think he trusts the backup that he has, and he has reasons to trust them. Patrick says, I propose Arteta should play this formation against Leicester City. A back four of Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Zinchenko, and Tomiyasu. You're dropping Ben White. We're going to have a little conversation about Ben White. And then in midfield, Partey, Smith Rowe, and Odegaard. You're dropping Xhaka as well. And up top, Martinelli, Saka, and Trossard. Edin Ketia, you have dropped, right? So, right. I'm going to take two more comments, and then we talk about that. Brian says, to win the trophy, we need to go back to scoring goals in the 15 minutes to create fear for the opponents. And Kelvin says, Cossy, Arsenal will win the league by working hard by themselves. Man City second, Newcastle third, Man United fourth. You're predicting a real drop-off for Man United. And then the really, really legit man says Man United is consistent. It is not about brilliant football. It's about winning games. And at this point, that's what they're doing. I still think Arsenal will win the league, but Man United will finish second. Wow. That's a brave prediction. Brave prediction. But Glenn, I want us to have that conversation. Together with the January transfer signings that we made. Edin Ketia has come in at a time where there were big boots to fill, and he's done all right. I don't want even to slander him. I think there's a downgrade that is visible in that regard, but Edin Ketia has brought some quality, some cover in that area. Xhaka has dropped off massively, in my opinion, ever since the World Cup. Ben White, I think the worst game for Ben White in an Arsenal jersey was the Aston Villa game. Like, you look at the second goal and you can't believe what was happening. But then you look at the kind of support he was providing Saka with, especially in the second half. It just seems, has he lost concentration? Is it the effects of playing out of position that we are seeing? Is it just the team that the team has been down? What do you think about those three?
Ever since Ben White is one of my favorite Arsenal players, by the way. Ben White.
To be honest,
I watched.
He's handsome, but
I love the way he's played for Arsenal. I watched a show the other day talking about Ben White, and I was kind of boiling. I was like, no, I need to talk to Cossy right now. Yeah. If you look at our defenders this season, I know the second goal, that was very bad defending. You cannot let someone run behind you like that. There was no threat. If he stayed in that position, that would not have been a goal. That's a very bad mistake. Against Man United, he was totally dominated in the first half by Rashford. I think he picked up a yellow card and he had to be subbed off at halftime. And also a few other games since the World Cup is not being great. But against Brighton, after the World Cup, he was good. Against West Ham, he was good. And against Newcastle at home, he was good when he drew 0-0. Out of all our defenders, he's the only one who's not given a goal directly. Saliba has given away a goal, and I think he's given away a penalty. Gabriel has given away a penalty, and I think he gave the goal to Mitrovic. Zinchenko gave the goal to Watkins the other day. Tomiyasu gave the goal to De Bruyne. He's the only player who's not given a goal directly, Ben White. He's not made any mistake directly to a goal. Yes, he lost his man against Aston Villa. I guess you can count that. But in terms of giving away the ball directly to create a chance for the opponent, he's not really done that. So he's really the only one who's not made a mistake. Yes, in terms of going forward, maybe Tomiyasu is better.
Yeah.
Second half, I agree. But first, wait, the Nketiah chance when Nketiah headed the ball to the post, Ben White put in a good cross. He also
Yeah.
put in 3 good crosses in that second half.
Yeah.
I don't think the playing out of position is he's already played that for like 21 games this season, so I don't think playing out of his position is really affecting him. The thing I thought about, yes, he's dropped off from the Ben White we knew before the World Cup. I don't know how much him not playing at the World Cup for England affected him. I don't know how much that one did, but I was thinking, could it be because they've played literally every single game, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, because all of them, all of a sudden, they're not as good as they were before the season, before the World Cup. Yes, players, defenders especially times where Tony Adams, Campbell, John Terry, Carvalho, Vidic, Ferdinand, those guys used to play every single game for them to win the title. For us right now, I literally feel like all those players have gotten tired because they've played every single game. That's why mistakes have crept in, mistake after mistake after mistake. But I don't. I'm the kind of person that really doesn't care who plays between Ben White and Tomiyasu. I don't feel like if Ben White plays, oh my goodness, we are going to lose this game.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Yes, he's not played well the last 2 games maybe, but I don't think he's a massive problem to the point where like Ben White, if Ben White doesn't get dropped to the bench, you're going to lose the next game. I don't think so. And also I do love his discipline as well. He doesn't really pick up yellow cards. He knows how to position himself, doesn't really put himself in positions where he picks up yellow cards, silly yellow cards and everything. And I do feel the same about Tomiyasu as well. I'm not going to say Tomiyasu made a mistake against De Bruyne, is useless. No, I think we have 2 good right backs, and I think they're going to pick up their form from the next game. So I'm not really worried completely about Ben White dropping off. I'm worried a bit about Nketiah missing chances and worried a bit about Xhaka not playing well since the World Cup. But there's nothing that has really stood out. You know, there's a time you're looking at Bellerin and Mustafi and you're like, oh my goodness, this is a calamity defensively and attacking wise. Terrible.
Looking at Mustafi, Socrates Papastopoulos, and Bellerin, that was pain. Like if you're an Arsenal fan and you've survived that, you can survive anything in this world.
Exactly. You look at Ospina and you're like, oh, this guy cannot handle corners when they come in. He's too short, blah, blah, blah. But I can say, yes, you can say Ben White has 2-3 negative things about Ben White, but I can also tell you 2-3 positive things. So I don't think they're completely calamity. So I don't really mind who plays between Tomiyasu and Ben White. But yes, I agree. Against Aston Villa, not great. And against Man United as well, not great. So that is why it's good to have 2 good right backs. If one doesn't play well, you drop the other one, you bring the other one back in. And they are playing every single game as well. So do you think him getting dropped for the Man City game could have hurt him a bit ahead of the Aston Villa game? Because he was looking at everyone else playing every single game and then he gets dropped. So I don't know.
I mean, look, I think rotation is a key part of Mikel Arteta and Pep squads. Every Arsenal player must get used to that. Like, you will be rotated. You will play Tottenham and you Kevin De Bruyne and you don't play for 90 minutes in that game. Like, and your team wins 4 goals to 4 goals to 2 or 4 goals to 3, right? It's massive. But for me, with Ben White, I kind of feel like if we played a back 3 with wing backs, he would be massively good. Because I kind of feel like Mikel knows how he wants to use him, and he's used him very, very, very well this season. But you look at the rumors and the big sources, the likes of David Ornstein, the likes of Jacob Benz, saying that Arsenal want Tino Livramento. We wanted to sign Ivan Fresneda in January. Ivan Fresneda is a very different kind of player to Ben White. Yeah. Ivan Fresneda is more of Diego Dallo vibes, right? Almost covers each and every part of a fullback's responsibilities. Goes in front, scores goals, creates chances, defends well, has a lot of pace and everything. And I'm like, does Mikel Arteta want to change the system? Does he want to find? Because for me, I feel there is something lacking at the right-hand side. I want to ask you this. Do you think Saka would be a much better player if we had Reece James playing at right back?
Yeah, if you have someone who can combine with him, Ben White is not the best in terms of attacking, yes. Yeah. If you had someone like a Reece James, it would be great. But where I don't agree is people saying if Tomiyasu was there instead of Ben White, it would be like 10
No,
times better. That I
no,
don't feel.
no,
I don't.
no.
I literally feel like they're the same. I literally feel like they're the same. So Ben White, that is not his position. Yes, as you said.
Yeah.
So he's not the best in terms of going for. But if you look, he's actually put in like 3 or 4 assists this season. Even the goal that Saka scored against Aston Villa, it's Ben White who put in that assist before it was cleared, and then Saka scored from that. So I don't think he's a complete disaster. I've seen people saying sell Ben White. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like he's been great this season. Like I can count for you maybe 3 games that he's not being good, but everything else I think is good. He's been good. But in terms of who plays on the right side, I really don't mind. I don't really feel like he makes Saka a bad player. No.
Yeah. Now, I don't think it makes Saka a bad player. I just feel like the way Alexander Zichenko and Jesus make Martinelli better. If we had, because Odegaard really makes Saka a very, very good player, brilliant player. And then you're having Partey when he's in, that right-hand side is boiling, it is cooking, right? I just feel like if you had a Rhys James kind of guy that just makes those overlaps for Saka to, to get a free ride into the penalty area, or, Rhys James drifting inside, and then Saka can go all the way to the byline. I kind of feel like Saka would be a much, much better player, but it remains to be seen. But would you drop him for a couple of games, just like Martinelli, just to maybe him to realize that I need to step up, maybe?
Against Leicester, I'd play Tomiyasu, no problem. But we have 3 games in a week, so I'd rotate them. Usually, defenders don't have to be rotated because you want your defense and goalkeeper to stay consistent. But we do change Zinchenko and Tini, do change Tomiyasu and White. So I have no problem. I would start Tomiyasu against Leicester, no problem. So when you say a back 3, you mean Ben White is a third centre back, or do you mean as a right wing back?
As a third centre back.
Okay, I hear you. So I think he does well for us, though. But yeah, against Aston Villa, that goal, that was bad defending. But again, I wouldn't put it just to him because Saliba made a mistake as well in that game. Zinchenko made a mistake in that game. But I do think we have 2 good right backs at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then with Eddie, what do we do? Because personally, I propose that Martinelli plays through the middle or left, and then Trossard plays through the middle or left. Like, I kind of feel like if you're not getting the clinical finishing, I'm not saying drop him his shit or what, but I'm saying if you're not getting the clinical finishing, the service that he's most good at right now, how about trying to play Leandro Trossard, who can give you at least 15 or 20% of Gabriel Jesus? I mean,
now again, it depends on the game. Against Leicester, I would want to have Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka, because Leicester is always a team with pace, with Barnes on the left. All those guys love running. If they have likes of James Justin, all these guys love running. So I want a lot of pace, because what I saw against Man United, they were leaving a lot of space in behind for Rashford and all those guys. Dalot's getting inside the box, getting chances. So if you have all those pacey players, it would be great. But from then on, it would be nice to see all of them. Jesus playing in a game, Nketiah coming on, all that. But against Leicester specifically, I wouldn't mind seeing what you said, Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka, just because of the pace and the finishing. Basically, I think Martinelli one-on-one, he rarely misses. Like if you give Martinelli a one-on-one chance, he will chip the goalkeeper into being.
Actually,
yeah.
One v one I've seen him this season is complete. Is finished. The Man United chance. The Liverpool chance, that is how quality he is.
Last season against Leeds twice, he did that as well. He's very good one-on-one. The one I was really annoyed with Nketiah was when he went through one-on-one. I do not understand why he went to the right side. If you go to the left side, the defender fouls you and we get a penalty.
The left-hand side of of Emi, he finishes that. He buries that. But
and even the defender was close to him, it would have been a penalty and a red card. Like going to the right side, that was bad finishing from Nketiah. But again, it wasn't only him. Even Odegaard missed a very bad miss. But Nketiah has done it like 5-6 times though.
I just maybe Eddie's unlucky, because if Odegaard scores that, then it redeems Eddie. Like he redeems
Yeah.
himself with passes.
Yeah, that was a good interception. But again, I think Nketiah is really a confidence player. If he
Mm.
misses 5, 6 chances in a row and he hears whatever the fans have to say, his confidence goes low. But when he starts scoring like we did against Chelsea, against Man United, his confidence goes up. So hopefully he can, if Arteta decides to start him against Leicester, he scores, hopefully his confidence goes back up. But then again, how many games can Nketiah play? There's also that thing of, yes, Nketiah did not play a lot of games. So now that Jesus is out, let Nketiah play every game. I feel like he's also played like a lot of minutes. He's played so many games, FA
That,
Cup, Europa
you know,
League.
that is the question I
Yeah,
was asking of Neil Mope when he signed for Everton. Like, he's not having minutes for Brighton. So when he
yeah,
comes to Brighton, he's magic, right?
yeah.
But if you gave him 20 games in a row, can he finish like a certain Dominic Calvert-Lewin or a certain the guy has struggled all his life at Everton, and it's the same with Edin Ketia. If he plays 5 games in a row, he will score in 3. That is if he's been not playing. But if you
Yeah.
play him 20 games, you just lose the meaning of him starting every single game.
Yeah, it would have been great to. It was so great to have someone else on the bench. Like after he missed those chances again against Man City, give him a break. He still knows like he scored 9 goals, blah blah blah. That would be great. But I think he's also played a lot of minutes. But let's see how it does. I still feel like he's going to help us, like especially in the Europa League and a few other games in the Premier League. But yes, I think I would be happy to try something different against Leicester. But will Leicester do it? I don't think so. I feel like Ben White will start. I feel like Nketiah will start.
And lastly is Xhaka. Xhaka is I placed a bet on this channel at the beginning of the season that Xhaka will score 10 goals in the Premier League. Jesus guys. Like, how many has he scored now? Has he
You
scored?
went too quickly. You went too quickly. You saw a few goals and you thought Xhaka was Haaland. I mean, he was getting himself into very good positions against Leicester at the beginning of the season, against Crystal Palace. He still is, but he's not shooting. I was asking him, and it was Xhaka and someone else against was it Man City? They were
Yeah.
not shooting the ball. They were getting chances outside the box and they're not shooting the ball. I don't know where the confidence has gone, because I'm saying if Xhaka shoots from there, it's a goal, or at least the goalkeeper will have a lot to do. So maybe the confidence went a little bit after the World Cup. And when Xhaka was playing well, if Xhaka plays well in that midfield like he used to play like at the beginning of the season, we are winning every single game. But
Yeah.
when our midfield was basically our strong point. Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard staying fit and playing every single game. The moment when one of them drops off, you might survive. But the problem is Odegaard and Xhaka don't play well in the same game. We're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. But would you rotate him with Fabio Vieira maybe? Would you just go let's play Fabio Vieira. Let's see let's have a fresh, change of things.
So what I'd do, I'd give Fabio Vieira 2 starts. When you play against Leicester, I'd keep it the same. Xhaka, Odegaard, and Jorginho, Partey, whoever is in the midfield. And then I'd go for your front 3, Saka, Trossard, and Martinelli. So we'll have a game in that midweek, Everton. So against Everton, I was thinking about starting Fabio Vieira, as I said, 2 games. I wanted to see Fabio Vieira and Odegaard in that midfield. But remember when he played Everton away a few weeks ago, Doucouré, Onana, and Gueye absolutely tore us apart in that midfield. So you have to play Xhaka against Everton. You cannot play Fabio Vieira against Everton. You're going to be in trouble. He cannot handle Onana. I saw Onana running past Odegaard that day. You wouldn't want to know what he does to Fabio Vieira. So if possible, you can drop Xhaka for this game against Leicester. You play Fabio Vieira and Odegaard together. Let's see how it goes. Let's create chances for Trossard, Martinelli, and Nketiah, Saka. And then against Everton, I play Xhaka and Odegaard and Jorginho, Partey, whoever. And then in the next game, the third game of those 3 games, that is Bournemouth at home, I would start Fabio Vieira and rest Odegaard for that one.
All right. So, guys, we've come to the end of our show. I wanted us to discuss the January signings, but then I kind of feel like we should do that as a real show, because we also have a Decker's point. I think we should end with the Decker's point, because I really want us to talk about this. Declan Rice is Arsenal's priority. I'm gonna take a few comments, and then I have your opinion on this, because I really am against this deal. And then we talk about it, right? I hope you still have a few more minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. 164 people watching this. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. Thank you so much. I really, really love you guys, and I hope you're enjoying the show. Really Legit says Granit Xhaka was shining because of Gabriel Jesus, and so was Odegaard and Martinelli. Vieira is for Europa. I cannot disagree here. I think Xhaka really shone because of Gabriel Jesus. That's a great point. But I think Odegaard has been so consistent,
Yeah.
unless people have not understood his game yet, right? Uh, in the Aston Villa game, he made 7 key passes, guys. 7 key passes. Like even the Luka Modrics of this world are making 3 key passes, and that puts them in the 97th, 98th percentile of creators. Odegaard made 7 key passes in that game. You look at that pass he made for Edin Ketia. If that drops to Hurricane, boom, goal. Haaland, boom, goal. It drops to Rashford right now, boom, goal. Victor Osimhen, boom, goal. So I think Odegaard is still okay. He's still doing very, very fine. If you want him to be the Bruno Fernandes guy, scored 30 goals in a campaign, I don't think he's that. I think he's more of a game controller who loves to, do very, very good different things.
Yeah, and that is exactly what he told me that day. I asked him, I knew he wasn't going to say it anyway, but I was like, "Do you have any relationship with other players?" And he said he really focuses on himself. He doesn't really care who plays up front or next to him. He has relationships with everyone, so that is a good thing. As a captain, he said he's talking to everyone, he's understanding everyone, understands everyone's game in the team, and yeah, I think it's okay with Nketiah. I do, and I agree with the points that Legit said. Is it Legit? But in terms of Odegaard and Nketiah, I still think like Nketiah has made some good runs for Odegaard to pick out passes, but Nketiah has missed them.
Absolutely. Okay. Adebayo says probably Nketiah needs to go on loan in order for him to improve. That guy for me has got more potential, and this is the point. There's so many Arsenal fans that believe in Edin Ketia. So many believe in Edin Ketia. I've been looking at Balogun's finishes in the French League One for Reims, and I'm looking at Edin Ketia. And whenever I talk about Eddie, everybody tells me, well, of course you don't like Eddie. And this channel literally never turns against me. But when it comes to Edin Ketia, I think it was Edin Ketia and Emi Martinez. Those are the 2 times where this channel was never on my side. Edin Ketia, people on this channel love him. They loved Emi Martinez before he left Arsenal because I said we keep Ban Leno, and everyone on this side said, Cossy, you even don't know what you're talking about. Really said Odegaard was bullied versus City, versus Brentford. It was the same thing, and versus City, he was non-existent. Look, it happens. It happens it happens in games. Players are never going to be, playing at the top most level. Even Haaland, the best finisher in the world, ghosts. To be honest, he ghosts in games. There are games where he doesn't have a touch, right? In like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And, it's all about supporting the team as a whole. And then Adebayo says, in my opinion, I think Ketia is more productive when he plays more off the left-hand side, attacking-wise, than from the other side or down to the middle. You think so?
I feel like you should be comfortable in every single position, but I do get his point. I've seen him doing more things on the left side. I think that time, especially the last 3 games, that's when he took the ball from Konza against Villa, and I think against Man City also created a chance from the left side for Odegaard. So yeah, I think maybe that's better from the left side. And when he plays on the wing, he's played like 2 times in the wing, like in the preseason for us. He played on the left side of the wing, but I wouldn't want to see Nketiah on the left wing or anything in 2-3 consecutive games. He's a striker. I need him in the box.
All right. So, guys, let's get into this conversation. I'm really happy that I have someone to provide perspective. Really Legit says Declan Rice is overrated. And that is my point in this discussion. David Moyes has said that if he's going to work, he works for a record transfer fee. He works for a record transfer fee. We are talking about above Enzo Fernandez. We are talking about Paul Pogba. We're talking about above Jack Grealish, right? I don't think West Ham will command that given his contract situation, but we all know the English premium is going to be paid. It has to be paid, right? He's not going to work for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 million. It's going to be above that. And this is where I just want you, Glenn, to give me your free thoughts on Declan Rice. Like free thought before we get into anything, just give me your free thoughts on Declan Rice.
He's very he's used to the Premier League for sure. We know that. He's made that. He used to play as a centre back. Declan
Yeah.
Rice used to be a centre back when he came to West Ham around 2018, 2019. He used to be a centre back, but he was pushed to midfield because he has that he can run like from box to box sometimes. His passing ability as well from midfield. Yes, at West Ham. I feel like if West Ham sold him in January, they're definitely relegated. I feel like they have to have him in the team to try and survive the league. I do feel like he's their best player in that team in midfield. He gives a lot to their team. Now, does he fit the Arsenal playing system? That is a question to be asked. Maybe he can just be brought in to just do his job in midfield. Is he worth 130 million? No. If I can only play, the most I can pay for him is 60 million. If it's like 100 million, I would go for two midfielders. I'd rather get Tielemans and Milinkovic-Savic in the team. I know they're not really necessarily number sixes, but I'd rather get them in and keep Partey there for a couple of seasons. But I wouldn't pay 130 million for Declan Rice. Break the bank for him. I think it's definitely he's overrated in terms of price, as Legit says, but I don't think he's overrated in terms of being a player. I think he's very good in midfield. I think he would add to us whatever we don't have in midfield, because passing ability, he's used to the English game. He's not scared of going to any battle at all. And technique-wise as well, he takes some free kicks, he takes some penalties for them as well. So technique-wise, is not bad at all.
Penalties for them.
He misses penalties for them, yes, but he's not worth 130 million for sure. That I would not pay for him. 60 million is the most I would pay for him.
Yeah, and I was watching DR Sports that last time. I think it was a Liverpool fan. Liverpool fans are in a crisis. Like Liverpool are in a crisis. In one of the crises that I've seen a team be in, right? After being in a title charge to the last day. And he said for 80 million, he doesn't take Declan Rice. 80 million. I'm not saying 90, 100. I'm saying 80 million. He doesn't take Declan Rice. He says if it's 60 million, 65 million, he would. But 80 million, he doesn't. Look, I love Deckers. I look at that. I look at West Ham, and I'm like, give me Declan Rice, give me Lucas Paqueta. You can keep the rest of the team. I don't want Jared Bowen right now. No, I wouldn't take him. Skamaka, I wouldn't take him either. Although he provides a different kind of dimension as a striker, but I wouldn't take him. It's Declan Rice. But do you think he would do the job Partey does for us? Because that is, I don't want him as a central midfielder. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Declan Rice does not sign for us not as a central midfielder. It's defensive midfield. So do you see him as the guy that can sit in that pivot like Partey patiently? Doesn't join the action even when it's too interesting, because with Arsenal, it's always going to get interesting up there and hot and burning. But Partey never joins it, right? Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think he's got that patience, that ability to be in that single pivot?
It is very hard for him to stay. He loves going forward and passing the ball. And sometimes for West Ham, I see him on the left wing trying to cross the ball, right wing trying to cross the ball. He does that very well. Like in terms of getting the ball forward, I can see Legit's question about what he does. In terms of pushing the ball from midfield to go forward, in terms of running with the ball, there's not many players that can do that better than him in the Premier League. He also doesn't really make too many mistakes.
He's actually played that role of a box-to-box more than Thomas Susek. Because Paqueta for West Ham this season.
Yeah, he does that very well. But the price is what is bothering. If you bring someone for 120 million, you're bringing someone to change your whole direction. You can bring someone to change your team. Like he can move you from fourth to top of the table straight away. So I wouldn't pay that kind of money for him. But I do think he adds a lot for us. But again, as someone said, I don't think he starts over Partey for sure. I think Partey definitely starts. Partey is better overall in terms of every single ability together. But if you had Declan Rice coming in as a replacement to the Thomas Partey for a good price, that one I would not mind at all, because he's used to the Premier League and he's used to going box to box. He's not afraid of shooting the ball from outside the box as well, but not splashing or breaking the bank for him. No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I would definitely not break the bank as well. I wouldn't. And the other reason is I think there's so many players in that position that you can sign for good money, and they give you real value for money. I think Zubamendi was a very nice spot by the scout team, although he didn't want to work in January. I think Edson Alvarez at Ajax Ajax have dropped off, but I would still take him. I think he's not a bad player, the Mexican. And Ruben Neves as well. He's played in that position for Portugal, and the more he becomes, the older he gets, I kind of feel like he's going to drift into that position. Single pivot, calm, just passing the ball, just passing the ball around. But if Arsenal were to sign one midfielder and they sign Declan Rice, would you be contented? You'd be like, all right, we've got a world class guy, and do you even rate him as world class even?
One midfielder that is Declan Rice.
In the summer, just one, and just one.
Yes, I would take him. I would take him. If it's just him, I would take him, but not for a crazy price. If it's 60, 70 million, I would take him, fine. But not break the bank for him, no. But I would take him. Yes, he's still a good player, yes. As I said like if he leaves West Ham in January, West Ham are going to get relegated. That's how much I think is important to their team.
Yeah. So I want to get your thoughts, guys, as we close the show. Is Deki overrated? Because real legit said he's overrated. Omar says, hi guys, good evening. Hope you're doing Omar Mane. Hope you're doing well. Dixon says, I don't advise Arsenal to sign Rice because these England players are overpriced. Yes, they end up flopping. It's good to sign Caicedo over Rice, honestly. But if they decide to sign him, it's fine. Look, I think it's one of those players where no one would say, don't bring him close to my team. Everybody's just afraid of the price tag. And look, I don't want him to be another Maguire. I don't want him to come and create a Maguire situation at Arsenal because it would be absolutely, it would be bad, right? But do you think Caicedo would make much more sense if you had them for the same price, 70-70, because I think 70 can bring him and then 70 can bring Caicedo. Who do you go for?
For the same price, I'd take Declan Rice. He's been in the Premier League for like 6 years, and he can play as a centre back as well. He can push forward. He can play different roles in midfield. I would take Rice if it's between the two. Again, you say that you're worried about some Maguire situation, but I'd also be a bit worried about him going to Man United or Liverpool because I think he would make them totally better in that midfield, both of them.
And guys, this is not British broadcasting football. This is COSSYZ Arsenal podcast, so we are not here to put the icing on cake on English players. We will give them the deserved criticism when it comes. And this is a big question: is he even better than Jorginho? Well, okay, this is not difficult to answer. I would say yes, but putting into perspective what Jorginho has done over his career along the way, what do you think? Do you think he's Do you think Jorginho? Do you think it's even a conversation?
After that goal, seriously, I think Jorginho is the best midfield in the world anyway, best midfielder in the world. I don't like comparing other players outside to Arsenal players. I believe in every single Arsenal player. Yeah. But as you say, to be honest, yes, he is better. He's better than a lot of midfielders in the league. I would put him in the top 5 for sure, alongside the likes of Casemiro, Partey, and those guys. I think he's very good. He definitely adds something to our team. He's not useless. He definitely brings something a lot to the team, but for 130 million, no.
Okay, and to be honest, I'm gonna say this. I think Deckers has to go up a level. So if we signed him, he might go up a level, and we see a Declan Rice that we've not seen before. I'm not saying only at Arsenal. It could be at Manchester United, at Chelsea, at Liverpool. Any big club that signs him, he's going to go up a level because he gets a better manager, he plays with better players in a better system, and at a high level, right?
I would ask you if you want to sign him, but you're already calling him Deckers, so you already have a nickname for him. I believe you already want to.
I do like him. I do like the price.
Good points. Yeah. Good point about the coach. If you get someone like a Guardiola or Arteta right now, he's going to be absolutely great.
Yeah, Javi was talking about Arteta and why he's thriving, and he said if you played for Barcelona, either Barcelona A or Barcelona B, and you're in midfield, you already have the map of the pitch. There is no question about how he's doing. Why he's doing very, very well.
Yeah.
Edward says, "Hey, Cossy and Glen, happy to see you together. There are better players than Declan Rice. Arsenal to splash that money." For us not to splash that money on Declan Rice. Look, there are better players, that is true, and there are better deals as well. But if it is 60, because most of the players are within that range, right? And I think with Arsenal fans, this is one thing we've got to agree now. We want players that take us to the world class level. I think that's where we are
Yeah.
aspiring to, right? I wouldn't sign let's see, I wouldn't sign Joao Palhinha right now from Fulham. Like, I like him, I would take him at Arsenal, but between Declan Rice and Joao Palhinha, I take Declan Rice because Declan Rice has the potential to make me world class as a team. And I
Yeah.
think yeah, and I think that's where Arsenal are looking at. You look at Liverpool, how much they signed Allison for? Like, they could have just signed Nick Pope by then. Uh,
Nice.
I mean, sorry for Nick Pope because
Is
he comes
yeah.
at a bad time when he's messed up. But it brings out what I'm talking about. That Liverpool signed Virgil van Dijk for 70 million, 75, I think, and then they signed Allison for almost the same amount of money. As Virgil van Dijk. You want players that make you world class. It doesn't mean they must be very expensive, but if they're gonna cost you, Aurelien Tchouameni to Madrid, is it 80 million?
A lot of money. They are signing Kamavinga, Chomeni, all of them a lot of money. But I wouldn't splash that cash for any of those
A lot of
players.
money. And when you look at Madrid, how they've been doing their business and how they've stayed world class for some time. Luka Modric, lots of money. Tony Cruz from Bayern, Casemiro, that has been a midfield that has worked for them for some time, and those are three world class players. You look at Benzema, you look at Cristiano, record signing at some point in time, Kaka, record signing up at some point in time. So if we want to go to that level that we desire to be, then we've got to behave like it.
To answer Edward's question, yes, they are better players than Declan Rice for sure. And to answer Legit's question, yeah, he's not better than Partey and Casemiro, but he's definitely in the top 5. And Coss's question was, if you're going to give me all these midfielders for 60 million, which one I'd pick? I'd still pick Rice. If all of them are 60 million, I'd pick Rice. But at the moment, he's 130 million and others are 50 million. I'd take the ones for 50 million.
Now, this is the last one we will take. Petrus, the other one is hard, but Petrus says Rice is not better than Jorginho. He is younger than him, but not better than him. I'll leave you to answer that. No comments there.
Such comparisons, it depends on the attributes. Because if you sit down and say passing, you're going to put a tick on Jorginho's side. But if you're talking about driving the ball from midfield to forward positions, it's going to be Declan Rice. If you're talking about tackling, it's Declan Rice. If you're talking about combination with midfielders, it could be Jorginho. So such combinations, it could be 51% to 49% at the moment. But yes, he's young as well in terms of age. He can do it. But you can also talk about Jorginho's experience. So such combinations is very, very tight. You can give me like 10 attributes. I'd give 5 to this one and 5 to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for watching this episode of COSSYZ Arsenal Podcast. It's been very, very wonderful to have you guys. Hope you've hit the like button. Hope you subscribe to the podcast. And of course, in the link on the title links you to Glen's channel. I will be there almost every week, right? Creating content and talking Arsenal. So make sure you're always there. As the transfers come back, as the title race charges on, there's a lot of content, right? There's a lot of content for us to talk about. So make sure you subscribe to both channels. And of course, you follow us on Twitter. I'm Cossy Arsenal. I don't know why my Twitter handle is a little bit confusing for people. It's Cossy Arsenal. As simple as that. It's not COSSYZ Arsenal Podcast. It's Cossy Arsenal. And of course, you can follow him on Twitter. How can they find you on Twitter, bro?
The same name that is on top of my head. I don't know if it shows. Yeah, it shows Glen Kitely on Twitter and everything Arsenal on YouTube.
Exactly. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and we'll speak to you right in the next one.